Bud Light is an iconic American beverage. Its millions of consumers in the United States and around the globe enjoy the satisfying cold beverage at bars, restaurants, sporting arenas, college parties, and after-work gatherings. As their newly adopted slogan suggests, Bud Light is famous among friends. Bud Light is one of the newest products to join an already extremely successful portfolio of beverages offered by Anheuser-Busch, a company that has dominated the U.S. domestic beer market for decades. After a successful merger in 2008 with Belgian brewing company called Interbrew and Ambev, a Brazilian beverage company, the newly formed Anheuser-Busch InBev became the world's largest brewing company. With such a massive organization, advertising and brand management is a substantial undertaking. So far, Anheuser-Busch has been able to successfully navigate its way to the top of the market by maintaining dozens of product brands that fit into the brand identity of the organization as a whole. Bud Light was brought onto the market in 1982. Today it is the most consumed beer in the United States and represents 2.5% of the global market. A huge contributor to Bud Light's success both domestically and overseas is its brand identity. Bud Light is contractually recognized as the official beer of the NBA, NFL, and FIFA. Making these deals with the professional sports teams adds to the overall brand equity of Bud Light by increasing its brand awareness. Bud Light has undergone numerous changes in brand image since its fruition in the 1980s. It has seen major logo redesigns, slogan changes, and a multitude of ad campaigns. As they have evolved from their status as a freshman product into what can now be described as an industry leader, so too have their ad campaigns become more elaborate and boundary-pushing. This desire to constantly push the envelope with their advertising strategy usually results in extremely memorable content, in turn leading to increased or sustained sales. No brand is immune to the consumer's distaste, not even Bud Light. A recent 2016 advertising campaign featuring comedians Seth Rogen and Amy Schumer poked fun at the political process of the United States in hopes that it might resonate with younger millennial consumers. Beverage industry observers, as well as branding experts, largely agree that the Bud Light Party, as it was called, was more or less a failure. Its desired effect of engaging younger drinkers on a level of political comedy was not successful, and given the increasing divisiveness of the American political and social landscape at the time, the ad campaign was suspended before its intended ending date. A failed advertising campaign can spell ruin for many products. The Bud Light Party campaign, while not a catastrophic failure, should be considered a misstep in the advertising strategy of Bud Light. The reason why Bud Light was able to avoid seriously tarnishing their brand equity and identity is because they were able to quickly launch a new campaign that unfolded in tandem with the beginning of the NBA season. The NBA and its numerous franchise teams provide a geographically distinct community with fierce loyalty to their respective teams. Recognizing fans' affinity for the hometown team, Bud Light employed the same team-based advertising tactics that proved successful during the 2016 NFL season. Bud Light cans and bottles were redesigned from the ground up, ditching the traditional blue and silver and minimizing the logo's prominence. The Bud Light NBA cans feature the logo, color scheme of whatever team represents that particular area. Bud Light was able to navigate around the fallout from the Bud Light Party by quickly refocusing the consumer's attention to the NBA. It is important to understand that the NBA advertising campaign was already planned before the Bud Light Party even aired. I believe that Anheuser-Busch was aware that the Bud Light Party had the potential to underperform, and knowing this, they wanted to follow it up with what they knew would be a safe, or perhaps more predictable campaign. According to David Aker, developing and managing multiple identities for the same brand presents problems for both the brand and the customer. In the case of the Bud Light Party, the message used in the advertising campaign was too different from the core identity of the brand. Consumers responded negatively to this particular advertisement, not just because it was involving politics, but also because it was so foreign to the rest of the brand's identity. Bud Light is most likely going to remain as dominant as it already is in domestic and global markets. One failed advertising campaign isn't enough to take down Bud Light.